The Japan versus Brazil game might end up being more poetic than Korea versus Mexico, because most people don't realize that Brazil and Japan have incredibly deep historical ties. When I was in Mexico, people would default to calling me Chino, but when I was in Brazil, people would default to calling me Japao. I didn't really understand why at first, until I learned the history. Brazil has the largest population of people of Japanese descent outside of Japan, at around 2 million. Back in the early 1900s, Brazil had a huge labor shortage after slavery was abolished, especially in the coffee plantations. At the same time, Japan had a growing population, but didn't have enough jobs or land, so the Japanese government encouraged them to emigrate. The first ship carrying Japanese migrants, the Kasato Maru, arrived in Brazil in 1908, and over the next few decades, hundreds and thousands of Japanese would move there. Today, their descendants make up one of the largest Japanese communities in the world. That's why there's an entire Japantown in Sao Paulo called Liberdade. It's such a cool mix of cultures. The streets are decorated with Japanese lanterns, there are Japanese restaurants, and fried sushi. It's one of those places that will only really make sense once you know the history. But the connection doesn't just stop there. These days, there's a town in Japan called Oizumi that's basically known as Little Brazil. Japan opened up work visas for descendants of Japanese migrants in the 1990s, and a lot of Japanese Brazilians moved there for factory jobs. There's about 200,000 Brazilians living in Japan today, making it one of Japan's largest immigrant communities. I never went to Oizumi, but I did go to a Brazilian bar in Tokyo. I met a bunch of Japanese Brazilians at coxinha, stroganoff with frango, and it genuinely felt like I was back in Brazil. So this connection wasn't something that was just 100 years ago, it's still happening today, which is why